And we are back. Peach Fuzz, episode 11. Ian, how we doing?
Doing great, man. Glad to be here. Big episode tonight. Some fun guests, obviously. Coach Robinson here with us tonight, so this should be a fun episode. So yeah, glad to be here, man.
Yeah, Coach, how we doing?
Hey, great. You can always talk about baseball and FY baseball and what you guys are doing. I appreciate what you guys are doing.
Of course, of
Absolutely.
course. Yeah, Ian. Ian's been out to see you guys quite a few times. Booked it over to you guys the other day. We were trying to snag a couple games on those doubleheader nights. I got stuck at mine. We went into an extra inning game at Bremen at Model, so I didn't get to bounce around. But Ian was able to catch the last half of that game with you guys on
Yeah,
Friday.
missed all the fun stuff in the first inning as I'm driving there, but yeah, it's a good way to finish out a ninth straight region win. So yeah, so just talk to me a little bit how the season's been so far, Coach. 17-1, obviously 9 straight region wins, like I just mentioned, 4 straight series. Obviously, you returned some faces, lost a lot of senior leadership from last year, but just talk to me a little bit how this team has been for you this year and how things have been.
It's taken us a little while to, establish our own identity. I mean, we lost, Angelakis, who's at Tech, and Hughes, who's at Southern Miss, and Sabo's playing in the dirt in college, and Bryce Adams, our center fielder, leadoff guy, was really a table setter, and Jake Zanners is playing, right fielders up in South Carolina. So I mean, we lost some pieces. People, had all these expectations of us being really, really strong again, and we are. But when you lose 5 dudes like that, it takes a little while to figure out where to play people. Dion Cole was our third baseman last year. He's played in the center field and left field and right field. He really has played second and first. He's played everywhere but caught and pitched for our team. So, try to figure out where to best position him. We just got to replace short and second and third, those guys, if we put Dion in the outfield. So Dion's actually back at shortstop for us, which we're real happy about that. The guys just can play anywhere. And just try to find out who's going to lead off. You look at Trevor Condon, who was in the 9 hole as a freshman and, 7 last year. Now he's gone to the leadoff hole and really doing a super job there. And, a couple of guys, Borcherding really started and did well for us as a catcher last year. He's hit some in the 2 hole, some in the 5 hole. And, Cole and Sharman are going to be up in the lineup. So we're front end loaded, as you would say, and that's been good. So just trying to figure out, just like everybody else, how to turn the lineup over, and we've had some success doing that. But it hasn't been 1 or 2 guys. It's been, next man up, and whoever got that opportunity. So those guys are, participating, contributing, and competing every week to kind of get in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of those guys you just mentioned, just trying to find their spot. Carson Moore, I've seen him a lot this year. He's came up big in a lot of big spots for you guys, showing some power, playing every day. Kind of just waited for his time to really find his role on this team, and it seems like he's found it this year, and he's kind of fit in and getting a big spot to play every day.
Yeah, Carson, played basketball up until this year, and so he would come out kind of late. He's a good athlete, and last year he was pretty much the heir apparent to catch. And in comes Borchington's mom got transferred up here to the Roswell area, and his dad was looking for a teaching position. It just really he fell into our lap to have a good coach on staff and then a player of Borchington's caliber. So it just worked out. He got to really develop with our pitching, with the Hughes and Angelakis and Sharman and Rose and Turner, and he just took that job. And so it's like Moore's kind of repurposed his skill set. He played some on the corner. He played first and third for his son, but he really runs well for a big, strong guy. So yeah, he's a guy down at the bottom. You got to figure those guys at the top are going to be on pretty often, and they are. On base percentage is really, really strong. So that 4, 5, 6 in our lineup is going to have some opportunities to drive in some runs, and he's taking advantage of that.
Yeah, definitely. That's something we talked about too with Caden. Like early on, it was just like so mature behind the dish, the way he could take care of guys. One thing that really stood out to us, obviously seeing him, at a pretty young age and coming through, and he kind of took his role as being a catcher first last year, and then now the bat's really coming along. So it's been fun to watch him develop this year.
Yeah, I mean a year, and he was a young ninth grader. He was one of those guys like me that turned like 14 in like the ninth grade, or maybe 15. He's just young, and yeah, and just he's hit the weights hard. I mean,
Oh yeah,
that big that's 15, 20 pounds of strength really.
definitely.
Carson Moore's done the same thing. You can look at Trevor and Dion and Sharm. Those guys are just strong. Jackson Rose. So those are the differentiators as people that can put on the LBs and get to bat speed or arm speed or just run better. So that's really played well with Caden. He's a tireless worker.
Yeah, and real quick, at what point do you think? So we saw Dion, Sharm, and Trevor all at a pretty young age, just through events and through tournaments. All obviously high caliber players at that age as well. But at what point did you kind of realize, like, oh, I got some guys coming up that I think I could really do something with? Was that like 13, 14, or was it more when they stepped in the door at Etowah in high school? You were able to see it.
No, we heard the rumblings, like you guys did.
Of course, yeah.
The summer, their eighth grade summer, I saw them play, and they were men of stature. Except Trevor really wasn't filled out yet, but
he was so small,
bald head.
Yeah,
big old jacked up neck. There's just one headshot that I just like think of every time I think of Trevor.
Yeah,
and it was like his 13U. Headshot at our event. But yeah, it's Pete Dean, a big football guy back then too.
Well, I mean, Trevor played football and would be successful playing pretty much whatever. But his motor has always been what was impressive. Whether he was a dachshund, but he didn't know that. He thought he was a darn just
bull. He thought it was big dog
or a bulldog, but and he is kind of
grown. He is for sure.
He is, but I saw Dion play the summer before, and he played on a lot of tournaments all around the country and just had success. And in Sharm, I saw Sharm playing. He was playing, I think, with the Astros at that point. So went to see those guys play some, and look, it really kind of worked out. I mean, they were arguably better than the guys that were there, whether they were junior, senior, freshman. I mean, it was just pretty much
good timing.
But in reality, I mean, Dion DH'd a lot his freshman year. He played in the dirt. He played second some. He played first some. He played short. He was pretty marketable and successful in any position. Sharm played some short his freshman year. While waiting on Angelakis to come out from basketball. He played short 4, 5, 6 games and did a fine job over there. He played second one game this year for us and against Marietta. I don't know if you saw some of those plays. They just are just gamers. Those guys are gamers, and to have those guys in quantity. I mean, there's 3 of them that can look at and say, man, this is how hard you work in the weight room. This is how you're a person in the clubhouse. This is what you do at practice. You don't let balls drop in the outfield. You get in the dirt and you take your reps and you're trying to deny BP hits. And that's when it's fun to watch a kid that wants it. We want it for them, but they want it too.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like you have that group as freshmen come up and getting some playing time. Obviously, Caden last year as a freshman getting playing time. And then you have this year, you add Colin Anderson, who's came in, stepped in, playing in almost every day role. Obviously showing some pretty silly power for his age already. Obviously has some things to learn and figure out and mature at the plate and figure it out. But how is it having that type of talent? And what do you see from him at a young age? Obviously, I think he just turned 15 a few months ago. So still has a ton of time to grow, but the talent is obviously there.
Yeah, the talent's there. He's one of those guys too. Is always coming for early work. Whether it's defense, and he works just as hard on his defense as he does defensively, which is good. So many kids just want to take reps in the cage. He really wants to be well and do a good job in the dirt. So with Dion at short, he's back third where he started the season off. But yeah, he does have elite bat speed for a ninth grade kid. He's still figuring out how to hit because he's had some success early, and he's not getting his pitch per se. So he's having to work more. He's having to be more patient, and he sees that with Dion and Trevor and Sharm. People aren't just throwing those guys, pitches they can do a lot of damage with. So you just have to be patient, and that's hard for a young kid to do. Once you've had success in your age specific baseball, you dominated to see better pitching. See guys that got 3-4 pitches they can throw for strikes and control both sides of the plate. So he's having to really hunt his pitch better and be more patient. And he's learned that. He's come. He is coming. He's showing glimpses.
And you can't ask for 3 better ones in Dion and Trevor and Caden. Borge too. Like they were those guys as freshmen, right? They were the guys that have always been the guy on their team, and I'm sure I know Caden and Colin are really close, which they're all close, but I think those are 3 really good guys to be able to kind of help Colin along, when those guys start not pitching to him. Because, it's going to happen. Obviously, you got guys in the lineup to where it's going to, sometimes hurt them more than it does help them when they pitch around him. But obviously that's coming. But I think that, you got some good ones to help them along.
I've had Colin as far as the 7-hole and the 6-hole and the 5-hole, and I had a long talk with him several weeks ago. I said, my goal is to get you in the 4-hole before the end of the season. Well, that lasted about 2 days, and I went ahead and did it.
Yeah,
because the last 2 series, Sharm's having some success. He got intentionally walked the other night to
see Colin. Yeah, I was there for that, which shocked me. To load the bases, I was like, this is an interesting move, which was crazy. Yeah.
Sharman had some success at our place in the series or earlier in the series, not only at the plate, but on the mound and the plate. So, that's a tribute to Sharman, and but it's also a good young challenge for Colin. And let's just grow them up quick. This is the time with these guys that we can afford to try to grow up some guys. The sophomore Curcio, we're trying to do the same thing. His brother struggles as a sophomore, but really, region player of the year. Outstanding.
He just had a big game this past weekend with Brian beating Tennessee Wesleyan. I saw.
I know. Well, I took BP with Sabo and Curcio and Stradley, and they both went oppo yard. And so
that'll fly. That's where I actually went my freshman year, and that place is a launch pad. The ball flies at Brian.
Yeah. It's just great to see those guys. Those are 3 other, all these guys that come back, and even Bryce with a bum wing. He's had surgery, and Zayner came home on his time off. We did some BP, and Chirillo's around, and we just got a great culture. These kids are just great kids, and it's just I've been real blessed.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Well, we appreciate you jumping on. Last thing before you go, we'll let a couple other guys jump in here, but big matchups coming up here in a few weeks. Obviously non-region matchups. Just talk us through that. Looking forward to those types of games to get you ready for the playoffs.
Well, let me tell you something. I thought you were going to say, you said a couple of weeks. I thought you meant to say, a couple of days, because we face Walton Tuesday.
Yeah, you got Walton for region this week.
Let's talk about that one first. Yeah.
Well, they swept, North Paulding, and we didn't. So
I like it.
We know what kind of foe we face with Walton every year. Shane does a great job over there, and
it's a scrappy bunch, man.
These guys know each other, and they've, it's going to be just playoff atmosphere Tuesday night over there. It's getting to be baseball weather. So we play, Sharm will throw. He always goes Tuesday, and then we'll go Rose and Turner, but it'll be Thursday night this week at Etowah. So it's a great, it's SEC like, 3-game series. I'm more excited about that than spring break.
I love it.
But
it fires me up,
But back to your original question, it's it is good to have this series. We'll take Friday off, take the weekend off, and then come back and face a good team out of New York, Newton County, and then Houston County. So, we'll play 3 really good teams over spring break to get us ready, really, for the Cherokee series. And
true, yep. I said too. I mean, because Cherokee's going to be fighting for a spot in that series too, and obviously you'll have the big Worley Charm matchup as we hope. But yeah, I mean they're a scrappy bunch too. You never know. Coach Thomas does a great job with those guys.
Yeah. Yes, he does. And then that
rivalry.
And we got BT the next week, and
it doesn't stop.
Doubleheader with those guys. And so this is new. Being in 6A with all the other 7A guys that have come down. So we're not looking past Tuesday. All folks is on that game, and our guys are up for the challenge to get on the road. I've never hadn't seen Walton's new park yet, so I'm looking forward to going over there. Some great memories over there at their old park. Some good, some bad. Walton's always been good at. Even when I was over the last 20 years, when I was at Milton, we were having to play Walton. And they've won, I don't know if they've won 3 or 4 titles over there. Even when DJ was there, Dennis Jordan up at North Paulding, I came up and played Walton when I was coaching in Florida. Somebody said, play Walton. They're the guys to beat. And Walton was so good, they played me one afternoon before a region game. They said, we'll play you. We got a game after that. It's a region game, but we'll play you. And so
that's funny.
That's the quality.
The type of ball club you're going to get every week.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on. I know we were looking forward to it. We'll bring on Charm and Rose here in just a sec. But man, good luck this week. Doing a great job over there. You've been doing a good job. Good luck the rest of the way, and we'll see you guys again soon.
All right, so I'm done for the night. Are you want me to stay on?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah, you're good to go, Coach.
Yeah, you're good to go. Yep.
Thank you so much for coming on, Coach. Appreciate it, brother.
All right, I'll see y'all pretty soon.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That was awesome.
Well, that was fun. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that really was, man. That was great. Oh, we got these guys here now.
What's up, guys?
Oh, one of the best 1-2s
How we doing?
in the state here, I see.
How we doing?
What's up?
How we feeling,
Good,
guys?
good.
How's everything been?
Good, y'all.
Doing well. One game at a time for us. Like I said, I was jumping ahead like 2 weeks, but yeah, we're trying to take it one game at a time.
So how's the season been so far for both of you guys? I would love to hear from each one of y'all. Talk to me a little bit how it's been. Obviously, Jackson, one of the few seniors on the squad this year, really kind of providing some leadership for this club. So just talk to me a little bit how it's been for you so far.
Yeah, it's been pretty different, to be honest, because like last year I was kind of just like a bullpen role, but now it's like I've had to be more of a leader, and it's been going pretty well so far. And I think we got a good squad, and we're all hungry to eat, and it's going to be a fun season.
Charm, let's love to hear from you as well. Obviously, having some results that are positive so far this season. Had a great big 2024 and walked into a big spring with a couple good starts in a row here and thick of region play here. So how have things been for you?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. With our guys, I mean, we have so much talent on our team. Each day is just so much fun. Just like competing with each other at practice is like, it's crazy. From like freshman year and sophomore year, we are obviously very good, but this year, like the talent we have, like between Colin, Borch, Rose and I, Dion, Trev, I mean, the list goes on. And it's just been so much fun this year as a team standpoint. And for me, I mean, pitching has been a blast as always. And even hitting, I've had a lot of fun hitting this year. And I've gotten some good numbers so far, which I don't know where that came from, but I mean, it's been fun for sure. And we, like Rose said, we're hungry and we definitely want another ring. So That's what we're
How
here
did,
for.
Yeah.
how did it feel to get intentionally walked for Colin the other night? Like that doesn't happen often, does it? So
Dude,
like,
I tell Coach Majors every time. I'm like, I don't know why they're not pitching to me. Like I'm a PO. I don't know.
who was hitting like 800 for the first 3 weeks of the season or something? So yeah, it's just not hitting at all. But
go pitch to the kid that can hit the ball 1,000 feet. Like I don't know.
yeah, that was
That's
fantastic
funny.
to see that the other night.
Yeah, and
Obviously-
correct me if I'm wrong. I get the feel that Coach Robinson obviously has been doing this for a long time, but it seems like you guys pretty much coach yourselves. Am I right on that? Like just the kind of the culture of the group. Like it's not like you have to get on guys. Like it's all kind of one motion. Is that kind of what you got going on over there?
Gross.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much like everyone who's everyone's on the bench ready to be in the game, and
Yeah.
everyone is expecting to win, just like
For sure.
every other dude. And
Yeah.
even our bench guys like come in, get knocks. It's just like everyone's ready to get their moment and looking forward to winning.
Yeah, no, I kind of got that feel. Obviously, Coach Robinson's won a lot of games, but I think that just with the work ethics, you guys have across the board, I felt like it manages itself pretty well. And Jackson, obviously being on the senior future games team this year, you battled some injuries early in your career that you kind of had to overcome and get back to where you wanted to be on the mound. Talk a little bit about what that's been like, and then two, it's with the new rule changes and everything, it's kind of a crazy landscape for a lot of these players. What kind of advice would you give to these 26s that are still uncommitted? Obviously, you were a pretty late, in today's world, a late commit, you could say. But obviously, you're waiting for your chance and kind of stepped up at senior future games. So what's that process been like, kind of battling the injuries, and then what's that kind of advice that you give some of these guys still uncommitted?
Yeah, I mean, like for me, I think my injury was like kind of like a better time. Like junior year would have been probably one of the worst times to have it, but I got it like my sophomore fall.
Yeah.
And like I just knew that when I came back, like it was just gonna make me better, to be honest, because I knew how much
Definitely.
more I had to work. And it honestly like taught myself like how to take care of my body and know when I feel good, when I don't. And then like going into the summer, knowing like with the new rule change, like it's gonna be tough. I just knew like if a college really wants me, they're gonna reach out, and that's pretty much how I found UNC. They knew I was a good ball player and knew that even with the new rosters, like I could play.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I think arms definitely have it. Coaches are always looking for arms. No matter what, they're hunting arms. Obviously, left-handed being a premium for you. So, no, you navigated it really well. I think you obviously stepped up when you needed to, and I felt like you were kind of, I wouldn't say peaking, but kind of from where you'd been, like you kind of found your groove this summer and really ran with it.
Yeah. I mean, it was just like because me being a lefty pitcher really made it a lot easier. Because like
Definitely.
I had guys like
you're definitely one of the easier ones being uncommitted, right?
Yeah, because like I had guys like the Zagrin twins who on BT who just got unlucky with the new rules, and I think they're pretty good ball players and should be where I'm at too. But that's just how it ended up.
They'll get there. Yeah, and I talk to a lot of parents and players. It's like the path to colleges look a bit different nowadays. It's really all over the place. Charmin, your brother, can probably attest to it too. Obviously bouncing around, but like it's funny. My brother-in-law was like, those Zagger, he saw, I guess maybe Willie's video or something they posted of the Zags hitting the bombs, and my brother-in-law like played baseball in college at Covenant. He was like, those kids are just going to Gulf Coast. I'm like, well, Gulf Coast is really good, but yes, I agree with you. Like, they're two of the better hitters that like I've seen ever since 14U. Like, I love those guys. So no, they'll get where they need to be. But no, it's definitely crazy. Just everybody's paths can be a bit different nowadays.
Yeah.
And Sean, for you, just jumping on the PBR prep baseball events. Obviously, you had the opportunity to be at the All American game last year to finish off your big 2024 year. Obviously, after a big summer state championship, it was a good way to close the year with something fun. Just talk to me about how that experience was for you, meeting a lot of the guys. Obviously, we had a big Georgia group there last year, so good to spend some time with those guys as well. So just walk me through how that week was in Miami. It was a good time for all of us as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably the most fun I've ever had, like at a baseball event ever, like tournament, anything. I mean, I got there and like getting all that stuff is just so
yeah, it's kind of overwhelming.
so crazy. It was just so grateful. I mean, it was such an amazing opportunity God blessed me with, and it was just all the guys there. I mean, like you see them and like you see them at tournaments, but like getting to talk to them, it's just so cool. And like at the end of the day, we're all just dudes playing baseball. So it's definitely fun to like share your thoughts on like pitching and like even throwing with Reed at the event. Like we were picking each other's minds, like with our pitches and like just pitching in general and like just talking to everybody. It was just so much fun. And then the game, obviously, I mean, the people who I pitched against, it was absurd. So
Yeah.
I mean, just facing that competition was just so much fun in that environment. And it was just definitely a moment I'll never forget.
Yeah, you get one inning and you get to face 3 draft guys, 1, 2, 3. Let's see what we figure out, you know.
It was fun. For sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm glad the GHSA laid up, helped out with the pitching rules a bit, able to rock your glove, right? We love seeing that.
Yeah, that fired me up. Like coming out to the scrimmage against Marist, that like instantly was like the best part of the day for me. So that's been awesome to see that. It's cool to see you guys like enjoy that stuff. Like we think Mizuno does an awesome job for our events. Sure. So it's been pretty cool to see you guys rocking. I've seen a few other guys. I know Reed's worn his as well. I've seen some Super 60 stuff with some guys as well. So it's cool to see the prep baseball swag like on the high school fields.
Rocking.
Love it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we appreciate it, guys. We'll let you guys go and get ready for a big week. We'll obviously rooting for you. We love following you guys, and it's been a really cool journey. Watching you, Charm, over ever since kind of 13U, 14U at the old Rising Stars event. Yeah. Out there with, I think Condon might have been at that same event. I think that you were at. And then Jackson, it's been fun to see you come back and do your thing this past summer at Senior Future Games. So congrats on all the stuff so far for you guys. We'll be following you guys obviously this year and throughout your college career, and Charm will be back at it for another year. But yeah, we appreciate it. Good luck this week, and we'll see you guys out there real soon.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for all you do.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
See y'all soon.
Yep. We'll see you guys.
See y'all.
All the boys this night. That's fun, man. It's been good.
Yeah, it's they're both obviously Charm super well spoken, and Rose was a lot of fun to get to know at Senior Future Games, and Charm's dad also is like the best. I'm sure he's
the best, dude. He's honestly one of my favorite. Like I hate to say that, but favorite parents that I've met since I'm moving here. We spend some time together at every game that I see him at, and one of my favorites for sure. And it was awesome that I was at that game that he got intentionally walked. It was the funniest reaction from the dugout because I don't think anybody like expected it. So like everybody kind of like paused for a second and then just started like hooting and hollering because like it was just a chance. Like, I mean, Charm rakes, so like he's been raking forever. He calls himself not a hitter. It's just that's
and taking pressure off too. Obviously, I think that helps on the mat or at the plate. When guys aren't thinking it goes to show you like when a good hitter stops thinking too much at the plate, you see what happens. I think he's like the epitome of that. I think it's definitely cool for them. Obviously, yeah, no doubt. And Coach Robinson was great. He's always a funny one to talk to.
Yeah, man, that was the best. That was the longest conversation we've had. I always see him. He's always been good to me. But that was awesome. He was very open with things, talking about the guys, which is awesome to hear. Bullish.
My roommate from college went to Etowah, and Robinson came to his, I guess, wedding shower. So it was like fun talking to him in a different setting back a few months ago. But yeah, good stuff there. Glad to always bring on guests. We definitely want to keep doing that each week, and wanted to catch them before they get into the thick of things. Obviously, playing well in region play, we want guys to be able to focus and do their thing. Big series coming up against Walton.
That's a huge one, man. Walton's going to be that environment both at Walton and at Etowah is going to be electric. So I think that'll be as much as the playoff atmosphere as we'll see so far this spring. I think that's going to be good.
Yeah, Cherokee is going to be a lot of fun too. That's like age-old rivalry. Like even like when my dad went to Cherokee, like that was it was Cherokee and Etowah. That was like the first two schools around here. So that's like a huge rivalry. I'm sure that place will be packed out. But yeah, we've already been rolling 30 minutes. So we'll touch on a few things here. Talk a little bit about this past week. Obviously busy week once again, but what all did you see this week?
I was just trying to figure it out the other day. This morning I was like, Monday just seems like 2 weeks ago. It feels like at this
every
point.
time.
But
every time somebody asked me yesterday where I was at, and I was like, I don't remember. Was that?
Yeah. Monday was Lakeside and Dunwoody, which I feel like was so long ago. Which is crazy.
Yeah, what'd you think of Dunwoody? I was going through and updating these.
They keep winning. They keep winning.
17-1.
17-1. I believe that's 15 straight or 16 straight for them. They've had an easier start to the region and an easier, schedule overall. So they got a tough series coming up this week with Woodward. I think that's going to be a big decider in that region. But the 1 through 5 in that lineup, and then you have Matthew Persian, Ryan Davies, 1-2 on the mound. It's pretty tough. They got a couple of good bullpen arms as well that get guys out, some really good breaking balls, and then they know how to win ball games. They're not out there throwing balls around or really making silly mistakes. There's good base running. They're stealing bags. They're bunting. It's a quality club. I saw them obviously opening night, and their only loss of the year against St. Pius, who is still undefeated, by the way, 18-0, who also has a huge series this week. But I think Dunwoody's got a chance. I think if they can pull 2 out of 3 or maybe a sweep this week against Woodward, that they're clear on their road to win in region, and I think they have a chance to make a run in playoffs as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. They're probably one of the next teams to try to crack into the Power 25 for us, depending on – I haven't got quite through these yet, but depending on what happens. But yeah, for me, I was over at Fellowship Christian Monday. That's an easy place to get over for to me. Always the early games too, and Mount Perrin was coming over, which was a team that we had not yet seen yet. So we had to jump over and see those guys. And Perrin had Michael Fredette going, who obviously being their A Stanford commit, best I've seen him. We've seen him a lot over the years, and it was in control pretty much the whole time. Living pretty much 88, 91, pretty much throughout the entire outing, in control of most of the game. But man, that Fellowship team just keeps chipping away. They're obviously super young with Harkey at short, and Jake Brandon's off to a big year as well in the outfield, another sophomore for them. So I think that they got another big game coming up in Kings Ridge here in maybe tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow they'll play Kings Ridge, and that's that crazy giant region. Which shout out to Wesleyan. Wesleyan's kind of rolling through it. They beat Fellowship, and I believe they're still undefeated in that region as well. So be on the lookout for that matchup, Fellowship and Kings Ridge this week. So looking ahead, that'll be a big one for both those guys. You mute. Can you hear me? You're muted.
Muted. Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, Tuesday, I went out to Oconee County again to see a big region matchup at Jefferson, and the Dragons actually pulled off a big region win in that one. Hit the ball around, got a good start out of Eston Simpson as well, up to 92. Good breaking ball as well. The team hit well. A couple of guys on the top of the order. Mention here, Jackson Sims came through with a big backside double for them in late innings to really give them the lead, and they kind of took it from there. A couple errors for Oconee County and some walks where they hurt them late, but it was a big win for Jefferson in that one. Another good showing from Cole Johnson. He's been really showing well. Obviously, I think he hit 2 bombs in the Friday game, I believe, that I was not at. But he's having a great spring. It was another good look. I think he had another hit in this one, so that was good to see that. And both of those teams, I think, have a chance to really battle it out to the end in that region. I don't know if anybody's going to really pull ahead. Cherokee Bluff as well. It's a kind of a three-headed monster in that region with Bluff, Jefferson, and Oconee County. So I don't really know who's going to pull out and win that region. It's going to kind of come down to it. It's a lot of two-headed monsters in a lot of these regions, and I think this one's kind of open at the top for all three of those teams.
Yeah, definitely. Bluff's definitely on the list. We'll be out to see them pretty soon, and I kind of felt like they would get going, and once they hit region play, obviously not the start to the season that I think that they were hoping for, but they were still getting some pieces back in KT and trying to get things rolling. But they've swept region so far, and Jefferson and Oconee County are on the docket next. So we'll see a lot shake out here in the next 2 weeks for that region. But on Wednesday, I took the trip over to Habersham Central to see them against Loganville. Habersham Central is a really young team that has some guys that we like. Maverick Chitwood, uncommitted junior for him, was still hitting. I think he's hitting over north of like 420, 430 on the year with 0 strikeouts, which is pretty impressive, in 50+ ABs. So he had a rough start on the mound. He had a big kind of a long first inning with some errors behind him, so he actually got pulled pretty early. But man, Habersham Central stayed in it. They had a really good showing. Ended up coming back a bit. Ended up still dropping the game, but a lot of guys. Hudson Gailey at shortstop, uncommitted junior for him, had a really good game, and they were good to see. But man, Loganville, just being Loganville, they strung together some really, really tough ABs in that first inning, and ended up getting some 6-hole, 4-hole singles off of Mav, and they capitalized when they needed to. Mav could have easily got out of that, with a couple strikeouts, and but the errors that they had, Loganville capitalized, which is something that they're always known for. Having those deep ABs, and for sure, Aiden Gorvet is kind of tone setter at the top of the order for them. Caden Howell was a guy that we really liked in the preseason at the bottom. Coach Robinson talked about flipping the order over, and Caden did a really good job of that on Wednesday night. Jake Boland was on the mound. We talked about it in the episode prior to that game, him filling up the zone. That he did. He gave up his fair share of hits, but he got his strikeouts and his big outs when he needed them. And Loganville remained undefeated in that region, I believe. I think they're still undefeated. But man, they look good. They'll have him and Jordan Johnson's kind of their 1-2 punch on the mound, which is going to be tough to beat. Yeah, still undefeated in that region. So they'll have Appalachia coming up. They'll be at Parkview. I forgot about that one. That'll be a fun one. And then they have Buford and Marist. Man, they got a stretch towards the end of the season. They have Buford, Marist,
that way for
Grayson.
a lot of guys, man.
Even though those are non-region, but I love seeing these guys add in these games. Buford, like I said, Buford, Marist, Grayson, Gainesville, and then Cherokee Bluff. So a lot of good games on the docket for Loganville, and I think that they have a sophomore behind the dish, Palmer, who actually has a younger brother we just saw at Rising Stars. I liked him a lot. Dawson Allen was a freshman. I took off Thursday. Did you do anything? What did you have Thursday?
Wednesday I was out, and I saw Denmark, North Atlanta, actually in that brutal.
Oh yeah, that was Wednesday.
In that brutal Forsyth region.
I knew it. I told you that. I knew that it was going to be crazy. There was going to be no clear favorites.
It's going to be crazy. Everybody's got at least 2 losses in the region. Obviously, Denmark lost this game on Wednesday. North Atlanta picked up a big region win. Jackson Island looked awesome at third base, had a couple big hits. Dallas Peoples had a big backside double off the wall that I thought was going off the bat. I think he did as well. They swung it really well against a good arm, Sebastian Walls, who just they were hitting some timely hits, finding the right spot to hit it. A couple of big barrels from Ryan Edwards, I believe, and who else had a big barrel in the first inning? Dustin Rovak as well had a double off the wall backside where he expanded the zone and really used his lower half well and drove a ball off the wall in the left center gap, which was huge. But that region is so tough. Denmark bounced back on Friday to win the series, but they have a brutal stretch coming up here, facing West this week, then South, then North, back to back. And all three, and those 4 teams right there are the top 5 in region. So I think that's really where this region comes down to. It's going to be these next 3 weeks for those teams. Obviously, they're going to beat each other up. I think somebody's going to win the region with 5 losses, possibly. In region, 5 losses in region, and going to win, which is not a bad thing. It's just it's going to be brutal. There's going to be some big games every night, and I think it's going to be tough to see who makes that on top because a lot of these teams are young. Obviously, a team like South Forsyth has some seniors with Cohen Rogers, who's been playing really well lately as well, and a few other guys that can make a run. They sit, I believe, at 5-4 in region, 11-7 overall. Who do they have coming up? I know that obviously they'll have some tough region matchups. They have Alpharetta this week, who's out currently last in region, so a chance to win some big games to give themselves a good sense going into some bigger series coming down the line.
Yeah, and shout out to Lambert too. Lambert actually took that series against South 2 of 3 games. Koa Peters has been huge for Lambert. Couple bombs, pitched I think a CG one of the games as well. So he's really stepped up. Sophomore for them that I've been high on the last year or so, and showed up to their game not too long ago. I guess against Denmark, I guess that first series where Denmark swept them, and he really looked the part over at first base, and obviously the bat's coming along. But yeah, they had a barn burner in that last one. Lambert won it 14-13 in Game 3, so I'm sure that was a crazy game with the series split at 1 apiece. And they have North Atlanta coming up next. But yeah, I love seeing that region. North Forsyth, they got to get it going. Obviously, they had a giant game walk-off by Ellis Aldridge in, I guess that was Game 2, against West.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that was a really fun one. And then let's see. For me, Friday, I bounced over to Model for Bremen at Model. Model, obviously, at 19-0, I believe, still undefeated. Carter Allen was going Game 1 against them, a guy that was a junior future gamer and had a big time performance at Georgia Dugout Club that we had kind of circled to check back in on, and we kind of knew that was going to be one of their better matchups. And he looked solid. Had a couple errors, couple walks, and Model kind of capitalized. Shout out to Brentley Patch. He kind of did it all for him in that doubleheader. I believe he had 5 or 6 hits, 2 up in the first game. He tied it with a single up the middle. There might have been go ahead, and then in Game 2, he had the go ahead single as well. So he was just looking to hit early in the count and hammering fastballs to the pull side. So really good showing for him, and he also went CG on the mound, I think, in Game 2 for the win. Definitely went 6. But yeah, they won that doubleheader against Bremen. They really well put together group in Model. A couple seniors at the top with Jared Turhan and Ripken West, both kind of tone setters at the top of the order for them. So really tough squad there. I'll see who they got coming up.
Bowden.
They'll have Pepperell. Yeah, Pepperell is the following week, the spring break week for most of them. So that's going to be for the region, I would assume. Pepperell's been swinging it really well, so that might be one that we may have to check in on. I was looking at so Pepperell's 7-2 in that region. Heard County is 5-1. So yeah, Model still has Heard County and Pepperell. So we'll that'll definitely be the tail of that region there in the next couple of series coming up.
For sure. I mean, I finished my week with a bunch more region. Thursday night was a big one in Marietta. I went out and saw Kell and BT. Obviously, a big pitching matchup on the mound with Joseph Contreras and Zach Simmons for Kell. Contreras was one of the better outings I've seen. His stuff was as gross as it's ever been. As good of a catcher as Gavin Green is behind the plate, the stuff was just had so much movement and late bite that it was almost hard to catch with the full mix. He was He was throwing a 4-seam, a 2-seam, a slider, a change split. I'm not sure which one. He has both. I don't know which one. He was throwing more of the change this evening. And then he was busting out a fork ball as well, which was absolutely, I mean, for lack of words, diabolical at 75, 79. It would just disappear with depth.
Yeah,
I was causing some ugly swing and miss. Like I slowed it down on a video, and I just couldn't believe the late movement it was getting. Obviously, when you have the big league bloodlines, and with a dad who had I think 8 pitches at one point in his arsenal in the big leagues, so you knew the pitch mix was going to be deep. But how much polish has shown this year? Last year it was kind of raw on the mound, and this year we've seen a different guy. He's every bit of 6'4", 200 pounds now. He might even be taller than that. He looks 6'6" on the mound to me.
Giant.
But
yeah,
he's a massive kid, and like I don't think he's done growing. He's not done filling out either. He's going to throw harder. Obviously, some of the BT kids are telling me he was up to 96 this past week or week and a half ago. He was up to 93, 94 the other night. So the velo is there. Aiden Zagrin, we talked about the Zagrin twins earlier in the show. Obviously came through with another big power showing again. They were down 3-1 in the 5th. Drove a ball backside, way gone. It was little.
And that's the big fence, right, Kel?
Yeah,
that's
missed.
No,
the big fence is in left, so he went backside. Yeah,
gotcha.
And but it was to be determined if it was fair or foul for a while. It was down the line. It ended up being fair. It was a big moment for the team. They ended up scoring 4 or 5 more runs after that for a big win to end up sweeping that series 3-0. They won the first game on a Caden Dawson walk-off 3-run bomb in the 7th, which is huge. He's been he went down with an injury, came back, and it's really swinging it. A guy who's understands. We're talking about young guys not seeing pitching, and then that's the kid to talk to. He's going to go out there and probably not see a fastball in 4 ABs. He does like kids understand that now. They don't want to let him beat him. But when you have a lineup that's got Terrence Bowen, the Zagrins twins, Cade Kids, Wesley Bass, like Cade. I mean, Wesley went backside. Cade's been barreling balls everywhere. Cole James is hitting the ball really well in the 6 hole. You have a guy like Quinn Davis in the 9 hole, who can turn the lineup over as
crazy
well.
athletic,
Yeah, that lineup's as scary as it gets in the state. So if you can hold them to 1 run through 5, like Zach Simmons did, that's an accomplishment. Obviously, they're going to get you when you see a lineup 3 times. You see a lineup like that 3 times, it's hard to keep getting guys out. So obviously that was a big win for BT, and they have some big games coming up. I think they have a big series this week, and then next week they go down to Florida for their spring break and face big teams. Obviously, I think they have IMG and Jesuit on the schedule. I know for sure IMG, which will be a big one down there in Bradenton for them. And I know that the boys are excited to get down there and face some competition. Chatting up with them a little bit this past week, and then Friday tried to bounce around a little bit and try to do a doubleheader. Jumped out to Pope. Haven't seen Pope since GDC. Obviously, they've been rolling in region. The guys have been showing out. I was really anxious for this look. Obviously, it was my first chance to see Caden Campbell. Somebody that I've heard about a ton over the last since I've moved here. I haven't really got a chance to see him. Went to see him earlier in the spring, and he got unfortunately a silly injury and was out for a few days, and I missed him then. And then missed him at GDC as well. But it was a great look. Obviously, we talked to John Setzer a lot. He talks Caden up frequently about being a talented player, and it showed early. The infield actions were true. It was his first day playing at second base. Looked great. He's played short for them this year. His best position is probably going to be third base, where it might be above average. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. It's a heavy barrel. He barreled, I think he went 5 for 6, 5 for 7 on the day with 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, stole 3 bags. Really just looks the part. I think I said on a tweet what it looks like, and that's kind of what it is. I mean, the body's there, the actions are there. He reminds me a ton of another former Florida State, now Houston Astro, Cam Smith, who was drafted last year as well. A lot of similar actions, same frame, gonna play third base or in the outfield long term with that body. So that's just somebody that kind of reminds me, obviously, with a brother like Christian Campbell, who's tearing it up in the minors, might end up being the opening day second baseman for the Red Sox after a year in the minors or something silly like that, which is well. So obviously the Campbell brothers know what they're doing. It was a great look on Friday. John Stetzer, I mean, I don't know if I've had a bad look at John Stetzer. Opened up the game going 375 plus to left center for a leadoff bomb that just carried through the trees. Second AB of the night, went 12 pitches with three pickoff attempts as well. Hit a ball pull side, probably 375 as well, and then before he locked in and smoked the ball up the middle or pull side, excuse me, for a single. Really looks locked in at the plate right now. I believe that's 7 bombs on the year for them. They ended up sweeping the doubleheader. I missed out on game 2, and they actually walked it off on a squeeze bunt from our guy Luke Wimbush, who just seemingly does it all. You know, had an RBI backside single in the first game, walks off game 2 with the squeeze. You know, just kind of does his thing. Is playing a really good third base for them as well. Is the epitome of a gamer and the true Pope breed is what they're building over there with those guys. Had a pure before I move on here. Had a pure comedy moment with my guy Coach Turco with them chasing geese off the field mid inning, which was fantastic. He like knew exactly what to do. Hopped on the lawnmower and was like ready to get after it. So that was fantastic. One of my favorite coaches that I've got to know in the area. So that was pretty cool.
That's hilarious. Yeah, good stuff there.
Good stuff, man. It was a fun week. I hopped over to Etowah. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. Got a bunch of crap from their guys because I'm in the car driving. And the first inning of game 2, Trevor Condon hits a home run. Caden Borcherding hits a home run, and Connor Anderson hits a home run. So I was like a little bit freaking out as I was on my route there. But it is what it is. Seeing those guys a lot. They continue to hit. They hit in game as well. I think Trevor had 6 RBIs on the day, including a grand slam for them. Really showing some power that we didn't expect. Obviously, we knew he had juice. He hit that massive home run in the state championship last year, but it's showing up frequently this year. The swing is a lot quieter than it's ever been. He's getting to the barrel often, and he's lofted balls to any field he wants. So that's been impressive to see, and that team just continues to roll, man. Like I mentioned, 9 straight region games. They lost 1 to North Paulding, but still won the series, 17-1 on the year. And it looks like we're going to see him in late May battling for another state championship again.
Yeah, and bounce back to Campbell, man. Like it's jumping into Pope like that as a junior, just being brand new to that setting is no joke either. And we knew we had
just
heard
like
that he was and jumping into Pope, no joke. Obviously didn't start the season like he wanted to, but we've had a ton of Caden Campbell question mark texts. We know we're both getting.
Yeah,
so we're glad to finally get
from some big schools as well. Some schools that don't reach out to me often have reached out about this. Obviously, it was a big week seeing 2 of the probably the most sought after uncommitted players in the state with Contreras and Campbell back to back. So. Yep. 2 really good looks there. So, like, obviously there's still some talent that's available in the state, and they're going to make one of these 26 recruiting classes look really good when they finally commit somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. And I was going to pull up one day we may get old Avery on here and let him chat about his games, but I know we gave him a shout out last week, and he was 5 for 5 on games this week, so we can't go without mentioning that. JD from North Cobb Christian was in the chat saying thanks for coming to our games, and that's what made me remember.
I think we just need to like set a segment every week for the Avery Foul shout out, just because like he gets out there and grinds, man. He was like, I went out Saturday to see Kennesaw in Western Kentucky, and like he was so game to come out there and help me cover that. I mean, I love covering games with him. He reminds me of me with the type of work ethic at these games. Like he doesn't want to miss things, you know. Like
and he gets so excited for the games.
Fired up. Like the first time I ever spent time with him at a game was in the state championships last year. The weather was miserable. We sat in the rain for probably 11 hours over the course of 2 days, and like he was ready to go the next day. Like, when are we doing this next? Like, he saw some that was the first time he saw like a really crazy play, and like I was sitting the other open side from him, and like the look on his face was like, yeah, this kid's like he's locked forever now. Like it's a wrap, and like that hasn't changed till this day.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Man. Yeah, we say we sent. He sends himself. He's the one wanting to go to a lot of these.
Yeah,
but he went up
had
to
a
see
schedule made
Prince
before I did this spring.
Yeah, he went up to see Prince Ave versus Franklin County, which obviously Prince Ave had a couple huge wins there. They were a team that we've kind of had in our top 25 of that class pretty much all year, and they're kind of emerging as the favorite in that region now with that big win against Franklin County. But just real quick, Tuesday he went out to see North Cobb Christian in Ringgold. Good matchup there, in region matchup. North Cobb Christian's obviously a lot of young guys that we like. Spears Martin had a big day. JD also had a good showing as well.
Yeah, they rate that day, it looked like.
Yeah, Hudson Newell, I believe that's the game he had a bomb. And shout out to, we got a guy down south going to some games for us. He was able to get out to see Ware County, and he really had good things to say about Ware County. One of the best put together teams that he's got to see this year so far, and he's got to see HOCO as well. So he said that really well coached, played really well disciplined baseball. Walker Hudson, uncommitted junior for them, had a really good game. And then Slade Sweat and Seth Seuss as well. So glad to see those guys. We know they're on a roll this year at, what are they at? They're still one loss, 17-1. So big spot for them, sitting at number 5 in our classification rankings in that 4A division. Shout out to him checking those guys out. And then what else did Avery see? East Coweta versus East Coweta versus Westlake, which was awesome. East Coweta is on a really good season, only 2 losses on the year. Logan Wynn got the start for him on the mound through a really good game. Left-handed, uncommitted junior, 5 innings of 1-run ball. And then he also got to see Justice Morrison, shortstop for Westlake, that we've really been wanting to see, a sophomore for those guys. And then he finished it off. I shouldn't say finish it off. He kept it going Thursday.
Holy Innocents Love It, maybe Thursday. I think that was Friday.
That was Friday. Cambridge, Westminster on Thursday. Got to check back in on Cambridge after not seeing them for GDC. And then, ended it with Love It and who'd they play? Holy Innocents. So a lot of good matchups there from Avery. So another big week ahead. We've been rolling about an hour here, so we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. Big week on deck for me tomorrow. Getting into Atlanta, Maynard Jackson versus Mays, and then Tuesday, Coffee at HOCO. Super excited for that one. Get to see the guy Michael Strickland on the mound. Obviously against HOCO, get to see Ben Fussell first time this year. So pumped for that one. Jones
big
County,
South Georgia week for the boys.
For sure. Yeah, you're getting down to Tift. At Tift or at Lowndes Friday?
I think it's at Tift, I believe.
Yeah, at Tift. So that'll be
that's
huge
there.
Friday. Tyler Van Summeren is swinging a hot bat. I saw he had a couple of bombs last week, I believe. A lot of good stuff happening this week. Stay tuned. We'll have Scout Blog from Thursday, Friday out tomorrow. Player of the week stuff obviously coming out again. Classification ranks tomorrow, Power 25 Tuesday, and then top prospect games invites are rolling out. We're about to start kind of our invite acceptances for those, so be sure to get your spot in there. Underclass will sell out pretty quick, probably taking about 12 teams for that. I think that's about what we had last year, so that'll be 27s, 28s, and a handful of 29s, and then upper class is June 10th and 11th. And that one should also be pretty loaded up. It'll sell out as well.
I think the summer schedule's rolling, man.
Down at Savannah, June 12th. UGA, June. Actually, shout out UGA. Big sweep over Florida. They got the sweep, right? Ended up getting the sweep.
I mean, a humongous sweep. As a Gators fan, it was. I mean, I love the boys over there at UGA. Brock and the staff have really done a great job this year with the team. The offense looks potent. They're scoring, it seems like 12 runs every game. I mean, again, shout out another Georgia team. Tech picking up their 20th win today on the year to back huge ACC sweep, as they got, I think, Clemson coming into town this upcoming weekend, which will be massive.
Crazy game. Clemson came back and walked it off. I was just watching that before we started.
Caleb Daniel.
Kennesaw too.
Kennesaw, their first ever Conference USA series win this weekend, knocking off a really hot Western Kentucky team who I think has got 21-3, I believe, on the year. So they're winning ball games as well. So yeah, big weekend for some the in-state colleges, man. Huge wins for them.
We need to dig in on that next week. We need to go back and kind of look at a lot of the Georgia guys in college right now. It's fun for me. Obviously, to know the names. Starting with the 25s will be really fun. Obviously, starting with that group, it'll be cool to watch those guys into college. But yeah, check in. We need to go back and look and see how some guys are doing.
I think Caleb Daniels hitting almost 300 now. Alex Hernandez
I saw
seven bombs, I believe. So
yeah, Brennan Hudson. I saw he was obviously at Georgia now, but coming from Georgia State, good stuff from him. He was South for Scythe, I believe. But yeah, there's guys all over. We need to do some digging and do a little recap.
That'll be fun. Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, guys, we'll wrap this up. Episode 11. Appreciate you tuning in. Thanks to Coach Robinson, Sharm, and Rose for coming on. Let us know
some more fun guests next week as well. Obviously, we've reached out to some guys already, so we'll have some fun ones, some fun conversation as well. Maybe one of your guys' favorites, Black Cobra Media, I believe, will be on as well. So I think that'll be a fun segment there. So
we can tell his full story. I've been there since the ACL surgery that caused him to get a camera to then start shooting while he was umpiring at Lake Point. And we could go that route. I was able to see it come to fruition. He literally walked up.
He's seeing a lot of good baseball. I can't knock that he's seeing good baseball. So I'd love to hear some of the stuff that he's seen this year. I know he was just down in Florida. He's going back to Florida.
And he was the first one to do it.
And he's crushing it. And they all. I mean, I not want to be him, but they're doing it because of him, and he's still doing it. He still grinds as much as anybody else does. So it's awesome.
When he came up with the name, it was me and Kyle Coletta who was there, and then Avery Hunt as well. And he comes walking up with the camera. He said he's going to start doing this, and then he told us the name, and we kind of just laughed at it. And then it's obviously it's super catchy, and it's just perfect for him, and he can be his own personality. And then he was at one point he was having me on his lives when he first started, and I was I don't know if I can do this because he's a bit more relaxed. Obviously, we got to be somewhat professional. He's his own brand, so he can do whatever he wants.
Oh yeah,
he's
built himself a brand. It's awesome.
He's in the comments. He's in the comments of kids and commenting on his rankings and all that stuff. So obviously we love him.
A celebrity at these high school games. These kids in Florida. I was down in South Walden. The kid was at the game. He's I'm going to watch it on YouTube. I'm even at the game. I'm look at you, dedicated to watch this. He's children are watching this stuff. So
it's awesome. It's an awesome story.
Well,
like I said, I was there from the beginning when he was limping around on a torn ACL. And his umpiring career was coming to an end. He was an okay umpire, right? He'll probably say he's good.
He's talking about umping again. He's I'm thinking about it, just randomly jumping. He mentions it to me once a week now. I know, but he mentions it so often now. It's something he thinks about for sure.
Yeah. Next thing you know, he's going to be on the Savannah Bananas umpiring for those guys. So, anyways, Willie, we know we love Willie, and get him on here, sure. Well, that'll be fun. We can do that.
He's in, man. He was asking to come on, so I had to.
He had his podcast. He did his podcast a couple times. He had Drew Jones on there, a couple big names. So we could, we could get him to bring on somebody. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Another fun episode. Obviously, big week ahead. Good luck to everybody with region play heating up. Obviously, spring break around the corner, so enjoy that. I know some guys have spring break random weeks, but yeah, we'll see you guys out of the field.
Yeah. Shout out to Coach Robinson from Etowah, also Jackson Rose and Matthew Sharman for coming on today. That was awesome for you guys to take the time on this fine Sunday, and good luck the rest of the season for you guys and everybody else. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
For sure. Sweet. See you next week.